Donald Trump is done playing games. Things are different, and quite literally, I'm excited to show you how. First, we have to understand what the left is talking about in regards to the entire war situation. They are not handling it well at all because they don't like when America wins. They actually want us to all die, actually. That's kind of, I mean, I saw them celebrate when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. I don't have to ponder as to what their motivations are when they support radical terrorist organizations.
He can prep with whoever he wants. He can prep with Benny Morris if he wants. There is no what you support terrorism ? No, I don't. I don't support the state of Israel, and I don't support the state of the United States of America.
All right, so Hasan Piker says he doesn't support terrorism because, that would be America. Just hope we're on the same page here. This guy needs to get deported immediately. He's very unhappy that we're winning a war. He wants us to lose. All right, he is in good company though because this is Kafia Watermelon Libtard, another one of these morons that also is rooting for our own destruction. Understand, our enemy that's inside literally wants us dead. We're not like trying to make America a better place. They have their policies in mind and we have our policies in mind. We want to make America a better place. They want us dead. All right, this is quite literally the difference here. If you didn't wake up to that, well, this video might change your mind.
Palestine is no longer the litmus test. The litmus test is North Korea, China, Cuba, Venezuela, Iran.
That's right. If you want to be a good person, you must be supporting Iran and North Korea. Imagine hating America so much. Again, these people are diabolical. We need to start getting rid of these people.
It's how you feel about Hamas, the Houthis.
Yeah, they're all terrorists, and I'm very happy that a lot of them are dead now. Thank God. May they continue to die effectively. Now, don't let your libtard neighbor hear this, but actually killing terrorists, don't tell your libtard neighbor, is fucking awesome. Yeah, that's right. The Houthis and Hamas are the litmus test. Yeah, the litmus test to know that you're fucking retarded and you should not have the right to vote in our country. All right, this is insane. Now, to understand what's going on with the war, you have to understand the level of victory that we're actually achieving these days.
Or they are hit harder than they have ever been hit before.
This was today.
President Trump does not bluff, and he is prepared to unleash.
President Trump does not bluff. Iran, if you don't make a deal, we're dropping a sun on your faces.
Hell. Iran should not miscalculate again.
Yeah.
Their last miscalculation cost them their senior leadership, their Navy, their Air Force, and their air defense system.
Yeah, last time they were like, Trump is bluffing. We have uranium. We're going to make nukes. Trump's not going to go to war. Please, please. A reliable source on the inside goes by Tucker Carlson, and he told us that you're totally not going to go to war. And then we obliterated 3 generations of Ayatollahs.
Any violence beyond this point will be because the Iranian regime refused to understand they have
That's right.
already been defeated.
That's right.
And refused to come to a deal.
They're like, listen, I know you're literally a terrorist death cult. You preach Islam, that you want to kill us and slit the infidel at the throats. And, America's the great Satan, whatever. Unless you acknowledge the reality that you lost, we're going to make sure that you keep losing. We're going to make sure that the dying doesn't stop. Dying will continue until morale improves, all right? Ayatollahs will continue to get obliterated. Now, reporters keep trying to ask her gotcha questions. Actually, Trump is losing the war immensely.
Regime change in Iran.
But does that mean Trump is giving up on regime change? Does that mean Trump doesn't care about regime change anymore?
Iran, because the regime has changed. In terms of...
has it not?
Well, the leadership...
Their entire leadership has been killed.
Has the regime really not been changed? Listen, I want to see the IRGC obliterated. I want to see them gone. I want the Iranian people to get their fucking country back. These poor people have been oppressed for 47 years. Now, we're not there yet, quite literally. We're not there yet. And I want to see that happen. I've been praying for the Iranians every day. Now, to be honest, though, there was something of a regime change. I mean, we killed 88 Ayatollahs, my guy. We've been killing Ayatollahs incredibly effectively. The regime is very different.
And nobody has really seen or legitimately heard from this alleged new leader.
We don't even know if he's alive.
So, wouldn't you say there's been a change?
There's been a
change in leadership. I mean, do you feel as though...
There's been a change in the regime leadership, which is what the president said. So thank you for confirming he was right.
I mean, do you feel as though you've achieved leadership level or the personnel in place right now in Iran that you're satisfied with? I mean, have you...
We'll see.
It's too soon to say.
We'll see. I love how reporters always ask questions like this. Listen, Trump has a very simple doctrine here. He doesn't want to instill democracy in Iran. He doesn't want to go there and put boots on the ground and sit there for 10 years in an endless quagmire trying to make it a Western civilization, all right? Trump doesn't want to do that. He wants the leaders of Iran to not be trying to fucking kill us, all right? And, you know, maybe suck our balls a little bit. Maybe do a Venezuela and become our bitch or something. I don't know. And Trump is testing the waters. And if they refuse to do so, they're gonna fucking die. That's actually how it works when you lose a war. Yeah, when you lose a war, you don't actually get to dictate the terms. I know that sounds pretty bitchy and shitty, but the reality is, dictating terms comes before the war. After you lost, you don't get to dictate terms, my guy. You are absolutely at our mercy. We overpowered you, we destroyed you, and we get to choose where your country goes from here. Hopefully it doesn't involve nuclear weapons. That would obviously suck for the people. Quite literally, it's pretty sad.
The Iranian regime's navy. We have destroyed more than 140 of their naval vessels, including
how many they
almost
destroyed?
50 mine layers.
0.
This is the largest elimination of a navy over a 3-week period since World War II. Again, let me reiterate, this is the largest elimination of a navy on the face of the planet in a 3-week period.
And then CNN be like, I actually saw an AI video from Iran.
Dismantling Iran's defense industrial base, which will prevent future threats to the region. Our military also remains laser-focused on eliminating the regime's threat to the free flow of energy through the Strait of Hormuz. Over the weekend, we dropped several 5,000-pound bombs on an underground facility used to store equipment, including anti-ship cruise missiles and mobile missile launchers positioned along the coastline of the strait. Our military efforts grow more successful with each passing day, steadily degrading Iran's ability to terrorize merchant ships. For all of these reasons, we are very close to meeting the core objectives of Operation Epic Fury. And
but I was told by Tucker Carlson that this would be like a 4 bajillion year long endless war, infinite war, nuclear holocaust. But I was told that this was going to be another Iraq. You mean to tell me all the grifters were just grifting? Now, Trump tweeted this. The radical left, country-hating Democrats are trying to create inner chaos to take away from the great military achievement we are having in Iran. They hate seeing us win so completely and decisively, but the American people sees what's going on, America first. And he's right, honestly. No matter how many griftoids show up on the timeline to tell you that actually Trump is owned by Israel, we're secretly losing the war. Look at all these AI videos of Iran, CNN running defense for Iran. The average guy knows what's happening because we're fucking obliterating them really very effectively. And it's fucking awesome, actually. Now, this was a pretty insane twist. Iran tells the United States it does not want to resume talks with Witkoff and Kushner. All right? It prefers negotiating with Vice President JD instead. Now, I have a few theories as to what's actually going on here. Theory number 1, this is the obvious one. Witkoff and Kushner are Jews. All right, that was theory 1. That was a pretty simple and effective one. Theory 2, I think J.D. Vance has constantly, since the beginning of this war, been trying to not state his opinions as much as he can, because I think he's kind of against this war. And I think he's going to be trying to make his entire 2028 campaign on no wars, and he was against the Iran war, and he's the one that actually made the peace deal with Iran. Also, he's very close friends, it seems, with Tucker Carlson, who, in my opinion, has leaked shit to the regime in the past. Anyway, only time will tell, but keep an eye on this one. He's been a sussy-wussy lately. Breaking news, Iran State TV, Iran has rejected the U.S. 15-point plan. And they're going to fucking die now, actually. So this is the regime spokesman, Marandi. All right, he's retarded. And he had a couple of choice retarded words to tell you.
Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the Emirates, not only do they provide, and these 3 countries, of course, Bahrain and Kuwait are also, they provide bases. They allow the Americans to use their airspace to bomb Iran. They allow them to use their territory to fire HIMARS missiles into Iran. But Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the Emirates fund the war. They pay the Americans to fight the war as we speak.
Hell yeah.
I don't know about Kuwait.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. Our allies are only becoming stronger while your regime is Ayatollah-less.
Bahrain. But these 3 countries, I do know that they're funding the war.
Let's go.
So Iran will not allow the Persian Gulf in future to be used as a platform for...
Oh, they won't allow. Oh, Iran won't allow, says Mr. Spokesman over here. Oh, really?
Threatening Iran, murdering Iranian children, as we saw in Minab at the school.
Yeah, so again, don't let the emotional grifting work on you. All right, this is like literally third world tactics. They tried it in Gaza. They're trying it here too. The reason why any person in Iran is dead is because the Iranian regime forced our hand to fucking kill them. Every single war has collateral damage. Every single war has civilians that are killed, even when they're not directly targeted. It's an inevitability of war. Why did this war happen? Because Iran is trying to fucking kill us. Because they're trying to develop nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles. They're threatening us constantly, and they've killed thousands of us. They forced our hand to actually take action. Every single death is on their hands. Just like every Palestinian in Gaza's death is on Hamas's hands. That's how the world works, all right? And they try to play like this moral chicken because they believe they are the arbiters of morality. Sharia law is the only moral law, according to them. So therefore, they have the right to smite us at the throat, all right, like it says in the Quran, but we're not actually allowed to do anything about it, because if we fight back, well, then we are violating their perfect peaceful law. And so many people, largely women in colleges, completely fall for this. They literally look at the missile that blew up, that killed the people, and they attribute blame that way because a third worlder cried on a YouTube video and on a Zoom call, and now they all believed it. The reality is, war is complicated. I don't care how many liberal white women in colleges get manipulated to realize that actually war isn't straightforward. The reason why this war is happening is because Iran is a terrorist regime. If they would have been very nice people, this wouldn't have happened, and those people would be alive. Don't let these retards trick you, all right? This is the morally clear position, and everyone's going to try to tug on your heartstrings with this emotional blackmail and bullshit. Do not fucking fall for it. So Iran, to this day, still threatening their neighbors, and that's why the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia is begging Trump to keep fighting. All right, that was breaking news from yesterday, which I covered yesterday. Only 15 missiles have been launched from the IRGC in Iran today. 15. All right, remember, the first days of the war, they were firing thousands of missiles, and today they fired a measly 15. Honestly, pretty gay. Pretty gay, Iranians, not gonna lie. Iranian Parliament Speaker Qualibaf, all right, and this is very interesting. According to the intelligence reports, Iran's enemies are preparing to seize one of Iran's islands with the support of a regional state. Our forces are tracking all the enemy movements, and if any action is taken, all critical infrastructure, that regional state will be hit and sustained with relentless attacks. This is honestly pretty hilarious. It's just like how Ali Khamenei said that they were going to sink the USS Lincoln, and then he ended up dying in the first 2 seconds of the war. No one's actually worried about their threats anymore. They've been threatening total obliteration of the United States every single day for the last 47 years. I hate to be that guy. United States fucking totally obliterated you instead. It's pretty awful. Imagine living your entire life, 47 years, prepping a war against the United States and dying instantly. It's probably the gayest death in the history of anime. Now, the funny thing is, breaking news, 30 plus NATO allies are now moving to secure the Strait of Hormuz per Fox News. Now, remember, this is the thing that Trump said on day one. Hey, NATO, pull your weight or I'm going to stop funding your asses. And all of a sudden, 30 NATO allies are showing up to actually help out. Wow, isn't that beautiful? Just a little bit of pressure from the Orange Man. And we don't have to be the sole policeman anymore. Because the reality is all those guys need the oil more than we do. Now, for people that need actual understandings, no, I thought Iran was going to shut it down forever and there was nothing Orange Man could do. No, it's almost like every single panicking opinion, all right, these retards that are literally falling off their chairs panicking at everything Trump does. Oh my God, Trump is fighting Iran. Iran is going to kill us on the mainland. Well, that didn't happen. Iran is going to blow up all of our ships. Well, that didn't happen. Iran is going to nuke Tel Aviv. Yeah, well, that didn't happen either. We're going to lose thousands of soldiers, says Tucker Carlson. All right, we're going to start. This is the beginning of World War III, says Dave Smith. This is going to be a nuclear holocaust, says Candace Owens. Meanwhile, the Democrats are describing a whole different reality, that we're actually losing a war, which we're obviously not losing. Oil prices are going to be super high forever. Iran is going to completely shut the Strait of Hormuz. There's nothing we can do about it. Yada, 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 etc., etc. Fearmonger, fearmonger. That shit died down really fast. All right, like, and quite literally, the only way you would know that is if you're watching this guy, this blue retard over here who covers all the things in depth. I've been so fucking justified every step of this. It's crazy. Now, CNN is still trying to run defense for the Islamic Republic. It's shocking that they're still doing this.
So does anyone sitting here have any idea what he's talking about?
I'm sure Scott does. Please tell us what he's talking about.
None of us do, because none of us are in the room for these negotiations that are
Doesn't
going
seem like
on.
Trump is either.
You're not.
Trump
you're
isn't
not,
either.
You're not. And
Right, so they're trying to say, you don't even know what Trump's plans are. Yeah. Duh. Excuse me, what?
Obviously, they're talking.
I didn't say I have any. I didn't say that I do.
I want to hop in. So,
Please
and
explain.
guess what? None of us are going to be. Now, we will react to it when the news breaks. But to me, if you exit this with an Iran that has a defanged as it relates to missiles, as it relates to an aggressive navy, you take away their ability to make nuclear weapons, and you leave the remnant here unwilling to be a supporter of terrorism, that is an unequivocal win for the United States of America.
I want to show you the very careful wording Scott is using here. He's saying...
I want to show you the very careful wording. He said that Iran won't be a threat and stop doing terror, when in reality... Like, dude, this is CNN trying to make up that Iran is actually winning this war. Now, this, I think, is the craziest news of the day, and it's something that a lot of people aren't even really talking about. Israel strikes Russia-Iran weapons supply line in the Caspian Sea, Wall Street Journal reports. Now, a lot of people don't actually understand the geopolitical chess game that Trump is playing because, you know, a lot of people read headlines. They don't actually follow geopolitics. To be honest, for the average person, buying a house is so much more important than whatever the fuck is going on in the Middle East, and that's totally justified. But if you want to actually pay attention to what's going on, China is a massive threat, a gigantic threat, and so is Russia. Now, not so much that they could defeat us militarily now, but you don't want China to decide to invade Taiwan. You don't want this Russia war to keep going forever where we're spending billions on Ukraine for some reason. You don't want China becoming an AI superpower, and we want to maintain the United States as the global superpower that could really do whatever the fuck we want. We could actually just do things when we're the global superpower. When we have someone else that could just completely nuke us from orbit anytime they want to, our hands are tied. Look at England. No matter how many strongly worded tweets Keir Starmer decides to post, that shit's not going to affect literally anyone. All right, the Canadian opinion and the French opinion and the Spanish opinion. Look, I'm not trying to shit on the people in those countries. It really sucks that that your country's decided to commit suicide. But their opinions are irrelevant because they have zero power to back it up. I see a lot of people take my videos out of context to decide, say, Nuck said might makes right. No, I didn't say might makes right. I said might makes. And that's just an objective fact. Might makes. Now, we have to be right. And I firmly believe that the, Western civilization is the most moral civilization on the planet. It's based on biblical values. And quite literally, there is no equivalently moral civilization. So I want the United States, quite literally the last bastion of Christianity in the world, as all of Europe gets conquered by Islam. Yeah, I would really prefer if the United States was the global superpower. So this geopolitical chess game that Trump's been playing for months now was first you cripple Venezuela, all right? Now that topples Cuba, and it also cripples Iran because Iran is not getting their oil from Venezuela. Venezuela was also a major oil supplier of China and Russia. Now we go after Iran. They're not getting oil anymore from Venezuela because Venezuela's our bitch now, and we go after Iran. We take out the leadership. We stop all the terrorism that Iran's been doing. We stop them from developing nuclear weapons, but also Iran was the major oil exporter to China and one of the major weapons manufacturers for Russia. So if you cripple Iran, you cripple the weapons supply line to Russia, a war that we're trying to stop, that we're spending billions of dollars on, and you also cripple the oil pipeline to China because China doesn't have any oil, basically, like themselves. So understand, Israel strikes Russia-Iran weapons supply line in the Caspian Sea. That's huge. Also, this is a Ukrainian drone attack, halting 40% of Russia's oil export capacity today. All right, so there it is. Everything nice. What a beautiful day. Driving down the nice Ruski road. Russia. But what is that in the distance? What is all of that smoke? What's with the smoke? Where did the smoke come from? Yeah, so the smoke actually came from oil exports. Massive fire at Russia's Luga oil terminal in the Leningrad Oblast after Ukrainian strikes overnight. Second to largest Russian oil export hub. This is insane, by the way. This is an image of Russian oil entering into the stratosphere, crippling 40% of Russian oil. So as it stands, over the last 24 hours, 40% of Russian oil is offline, and also one of the largest weapons manufacturers for China is for Russia is also offline. All right, understand how insane this is. Now, Trump says the talks are underway to ease the Middle East tensions. Egypt, Pakistan, and Turkey are leading the push as the Gulf countries keep facing Iranian attacks. It's just basically what's going on in the Gulf area. And the funniest thing is, everyone's crying about gas prices, right? Under Biden, gas prices were high the entire time. Now, all of a sudden, everyone's talking about gas prices because you could blame Trump for it because of the war that's going on in the Middle East.
It's going to be a big blue wave. It already was going to be before the war in Iran. And this is the most visceral change that we've seen so far. When I drove to the airport today, I passed by 2 gas stations, and I was paying attention. American families are paying attention to this.
They are.
I'm old enough to remember when Democrats were advocating for higher gas prices to bring about the end of the internal combustion engine.
True, by the way. Do you remember that? I remember that.
They have to be 5.
Now, all of a sudden, gas prices are.
Wait,
are a
which
big
Democrats
deal.
said I want higher gas
prices-
prices?
Gavin Newsom artificially increases gas prices in California because he's trying to save the environment. Like, it's unbelievable how retarded these people are. They don't know anything. They're just little talking point factories where they get the NPC downloads into their brains and decide to just blurt out how Orange Man bad.
Literally all
They
of
said
them.
I want higher gas prices.
Yes, they literally artificially inflated gas prices so less people would buy gas to save the environment.
Gas
that was a
prices
stated policy to drive prices up to get rid of the internal combustion
gas
engine.
price.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can say about it. But now that Trump is literally killing terrorists that have been trying to kill us for 47 years, now gas prices are up, it's obviously a nightmare. It's so disingenuous and evil. All right, so Iran fights back with AI slop videos. All right, this is what they're trying to do, right? Because they're losing the war, obviously. Oh my God, it's Netanyahu and Trump and Iranian girls. Oh no, they're falling off a cliff. Epstein file. You see, that's very funny because in Iran you could literally marry 9-year-olds. No! They've fallen off a river in a sea of blood. Again, this is how they win. Iran is really making pro-level short movies. Little AI videos. Right, this probably goes hard as fuck if you're a third worlder with an IQ of 70. Right, and they keep posting them. They're really trying to get like the Marvel Cinematic Universe feel for like these AI slop videos. The Native American. Japan, Hiroshima after we dropped a nuke. By the way, they started the war. Vietnam. No. Oh, Yemen. Not Yemen. No. By the way, a lot of the conflicts in Yemen is literally because Iran funds the Houthis to bomb Saudi Arabia. No, not Palestine, Gaza. No, not Palestine, Gaza, where they started a war and lost. Epstein's... I love how they keep trying to like make believe Epstein's Island is literally worse than day-to-day life in Iran. Everything Epstein did was legal in Iran, by the way. All right, and you know, in Iran you could take sex slaves from minorities. All right, you could marry children that are 9 years old. All right, Epstein's youngest victim was 14. All right, that's ancient in Iranian women ages, according to the Islamic Republic. Iran, no. General Qasem Soleimani, a terrorist that we killed, and it was awesome. No. Ali Khamenei, another terrorist that we killed, and it was awesome. No. So yeah, so this is how they're trying to fight the war. Like, it's honestly incredible. It's just basically showing us our greatest hits or something. This is insane. You know, and now one of the major interesting things that we've been looking into in regards to foreign influence is it looks increasingly likely that Max Blumenthal, son of top Hillary Clinton official Sidney Blumenthal, fabricated the fake story about Israel killing Charlie Kirk, used Joe Kent's wife and Candace Owens to spread it. All right, there's a lot of conspiracy theories that the entire shit was like a foreign government interference, which again, it's interesting. It's food for thought. And I think that this is the greatest way to close out the war discussion because this says so much. Now that we've crippled the entire oil pipeline to China, my meeting with the highly respected president of China, President Xi Jinping, which was originally postponed due to our military operation in Iran, has been rescheduled. It will be taking place in Beijing on May 14th and 15th. First Lady Melania and I will also host President Xi and Madame Peng for a reciprocal visit in Washington, D.C. at a date later this year. Our representatives are finalizing preparations for this historic visit, and look very much forward to spending the time with President Winnie the Pooh in what will be, I am sure, a monumental event. Thank you for your attention to this matter. The Chinese can suck it. That's basically what he said. And honestly, pretty good stuff in general, right? He completely and utterly cripples every ounce of leverage China had, and then he has a wonderful meeting with the fat guy.